Well, it's the first time I'm seeing my new rolls, the gift from Sally, and we're going to initiate my new podcast, which is going to be reflections and confessions of the $50 billion man, and whenever I use it, from the camera from the inside, Phantom, extended stretch, and this will extend my use of Rolls Royces from 1972 through 2015. Of course, I didn't need another car, but my loving wife gave me this as an early birthday gift. And I'm looking forward to it, and I'm going to talk about it when we get in the car. Looks like a great looking car, though. The 2015, right off the showroom. It just arrived a couple days ago, and it's the first time I'm seeing it. I just came in from London, where I did the London Real one-day seminar at the Ritz, which I'm going to talk about a little when I get in the car. Okay, as I was saying outside, this is my first ride in my new car. 2015 Phantom Rolls Royce extended wheelbase stretch, and I'm happy that I'm still driving Rolls Royce products some 40 plus years later. But this new podcast that I'm going to film when I'm using the car and when I'm picked up or I'm being deposited at the airport here in Scotland is going to be reflections and confessions of the $50 billion man. In the beginning, the big man made Adam, and then they took a rib from Adam. So this is not an original idea, because I'm borrowing part of the idea from Grant Cardone, who interviewed me in his car a few months ago, Confessions of an Entrepreneur, and it gave me the idea. It also gave me the idea when a 16-year-old young man, responded to me that he had smelled the leather and gone to the Jack Barclay Mayfair Rolls Royce dealership in London, and they showed him a nice time, and he had pictures. He took pictures in the Rolls. Now, I've been telling people since 1993 to smell the leather, meaning go to a Rolls Royce dealer or go to a very expensive car dealership, whatever your dream or your goal is for a car. Well, less than that many people have done it since 1993, less than 5. And he was one of them. And because it makes you stretch outside your comfort zone. And just as I went to smell the leather in 1971-ish, and then in 1972, mid-year 72, I was driving a Silver Cloud at that time, which was, and it was a lease car. I didn't own it. But it certainly set the pattern for what I wanted. Now, since then, I gave a talk a few weeks ago to one of my mentees named McFadden, who's a Scot from Glasgow, to his sales team of about a couple hundred on a webinar kind of thing, and I told them the smell the leather example that I've just explained to you, and so a number of his sales force went out into car dealerships in Glasgow and see, I can't get this thing, and smelled the leather. Now, the whole idea behind smelling the leather is to get used to expensive things, luxurious things, and it works. That coupled with affirmations and your goal setting. Now, I'm just landed in Aberdeen, coming up from London, where yesterday I gave my one-day seminar for London Real TV for Brian Rose at the Ritz, and it was oversubscribed by several times. It was a full house. The event started at about 9 o'clock in the morning, went to 6, and then we had a cocktail hour from 6 to 7, and then we had a dinner for 15 of the group there at the Ritz from 7 to 10. It was a big success, and I've Brian asked me last night, having a drink afterwards, if I would do it again, and I said yes, but I made some suggestions to change the format, etc. That event was, you had to compete. You had to write an essay. And so those, and it was restricted to only 34 people. And so we had people from, Canada, Tokyo, Iceland, Chile, all parts of Europe, and I believe Australia, United States. And so I was pleasantly surprised that people would fly in for a one-day seminar and travel that many thousands of miles. But I gave them their money's worth. Brian will be posting teasers and then trailers that will be followed by some different kind of content. But how he uses the content is up to him. I will also be getting the film, and I will use it with my technical people in some way. It won't have anything to do with this reflections and confessions of the $50 billion man. I'm doing this new podcast, because I have the belief that you, the audience, is not just interested in, how do I buy this? How do I get this? How do I get the money? Although I have a podcast on how you get the fucking money. But you're interested in how high performance people think about other things. And I have no intention of talking about politics, although they've got a general election coming up here in Britain in the next few weeks. And I'm not going to talk about, certainly, about the Federal Reserve in America or LIBOR here. But what I am going to talk about from time to time, for example, how I think, and I said about a year ago that I thought that the price of oil was going to go below $50 a barrel, and that's when it was about 80, 90, 100, and people thought that I was goofy. And then I said when oil dropped to $50, $60 a barrel, I said that it was going to get into the 40s, and I believe that unless we do something dramatic here on the oil front, that we're going to see $30 oil in the 30s. Because finally, OPEC, which is now pretty not worthless isn't the right word, but they're not a modern day governing body as they were set up to be, 30, 40 years ago, can't control how much oil gets produced, and more importantly, how much oil gets sold. And I mentioned yesterday at the seminar that the count to look for and to look closely at is the rig count, meaning how many rigs aren't being used and that are lying in the Gulf of Mexico, the North Sea, and across the United States and other parts of the oil-producing world that aren't being used. And I remember when the rig count, instead of being in the hundreds of rigs not being used, I remember when it was in the thousands, back when oil went from $40 a barrel to about $6, $8, or $10 a barrel, depending on which benchmark you looked at. Now, I never thought we'd see oil plummet like this. And for those of you that know the story, that's how I built Great Western, buying companies as oil dropped precipitously. And by the time the contract dried, I was already down 25% in value, which didn't make for a very happy financial institutions that backed me. So we're seeing it again. And because oil shale in America has brought America up to where they produce as much as they use, and so we're not really oil dependent anymore, and we've got gas supplies in the United States that could last 100 or 200 or 300 years. But the Middle Eastern countries have finally gotten tired, and they're flooding the market, and where it costs us something on the order of magnitude of $50, $60, $70, $80 a barrel in the United States to produce oil, and it certainly costs more than that in the North Sea. The average price to produce a barrel of oil in the Middle East varies from about $1.50 a barrel to as much as $6 or $7 or $8 a barrel, depending on in which country. So they can flood the market easily, and they can flood the market for a year or two or three, and they can drive many energy companies out of business And that's what my guess is what's happening. We'll see. Only time will tell. But as part of the reflections and I made the announcement, I made 2 announcements yesterday. I announced exclusive announcements, kind of like on a news program. One was that I was going to start this podcast. And the second announcement was the main, tangential to that announcement that I'm about to say, is that people complained over the years that my product, the QLA product, was very, very expensive, much more expensive than anybody else's. In the 90s and early 2000s, I was charging hundreds of dollars for DVDs and CDs, and I was charging as much as $500 for my book. Well, and people complained, and so because when you're really not serious, you look for excuses, and the excuse was, well, I would rather go on a holiday and spend $600 or $800 or $1,000 on product for Dan. So we started giving it away in the last few years because I wanted to take that last excuse away from you. You can't complain about the cost if I give it to you for fucking free. But people still complain. They complain, you have too much product on your site, Dan. You have hundreds and hundreds of pages of free content. How can I go through it all? Okay. And I say what I don't have on my site, I say go to Torrent. Torrent is where you can get material that's basically been stolen from the authors, and they're stealing intellectual property. But I say go to Torrent. And and they say, oh, well, the torrent sites aren't always up, and sometimes the servers go down, and so they're complaining and bitching again, looking for an excuse why not to do it. So one of my mentees came up with the idea a few months ago. He said, Dan, what I would like to do as a favor to you, because you've helped me so much, is I'd like to put all your product from A to Z, everything you've ever produced since 1993 till currently, on one site. And he had volunteered. He was going to put up the server, and where they can go to the internet and they can find it easily, and knowing that it's guaranteed it's always going to be up. So I decided that, I said thank you, and I decided that I was going to put it on the server up. So it'll have backup servers, and so the product in the next few weeks, and we'll make an announcement, the next few weeks you'll be able to get everything that's ever been produced by me from the very beginning on Torrent and a site that we will sponsor. Now, people ask me, and continue to ask me by email, and they even asked me yesterday at the seminar at the Ritz, why haven't I not changed deal making? Why haven't I not changed raising capital? Why have I not changed financing your dream? And the reason is very simple, because nothing has changed vis-a-vis raising capital since 1993, except for one thing. And that one thing is crowdfunding. And crowdfunding, I've never done a crowdfunding deal, and so it's not likely I can profess to be an expert at it. But I have read a book recently called Bold, B-O-L-D, about crowdfunding by some very bright guys that have done crowdfunding deals, and they did a very in-depth study reference crowdfunding. And so I'm giving that a recommendation that if you want to know more about crowdfunding, get the book. But everything else other than crowdfunding has not changed. And contrary to what you think and been told, and one of the myths that I dispel at the seminar is that raising capital and getting funding for your deals is not hard. It's never been hard. It's only hard because people want you to think it's hard, so there'll be fewer people looking for the funding. But I have a podcast, not part of this podcast, but How to Get the Fucking Money. And I recently put that out, and it's about 45 or 50 minutes. It goes in detail. It goes through all the systems and all the methods of raising capital. There's another thing that it's been on my site for years, and we've just moved it from on the bottom part of my site to the upper part of my site, and we've gotten a lot more traffic, a lot more traction, and it's called How Do You Get Deal Flow, and how do you get deals done for deal flow. because without deal flow, you can't really pursue the QLA methodology. And since we moved it from the bottom to the top of the site, the traffic has gone up about 7 or 8 or 900%. With those two, one's MP3, the deal flow, and with the podcast on how to get the fucking money, you don't need really anything else. Vis-a-vis creating deals and getting finance to do them. They've been on there, and I've talked about this, and of course in the Castle Seminar I go into great depth. Yesterday, in the group that flew from all over to see me at the Ritz, they were very, they didn't believe me that when I said that 99.9% of the people that have benefited from the QLA methodology I've never met, I've never talked to, I've never emailed, I've never tweeted, I've never Facebooked, I've never linked. I'm none of those things. They have done it on their own. It's only the one small 0.1% of the people that I've actually laid hands on, and I've created, helped them create their fortune. Now, admittedly, those are the people that have created the billions. The people that I've laid hands on, like Elmer Gantry, a minister of sorts, but all the other people that have created tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, I haven't met, and I get emails, I get tweets from time to time, them thanking me, and I'm appreciative of those thanks. But a lot of people pretend, even the people that I've helped physically, pretend that they don't know me anymore because they like people to think that they did it on their own. That's fine. That's their choice. And as I've told you, I only talk about the people that don't mind the recognition, because almost everybody wants wealth, but not everybody wants notoriety. So, but that's fine. That's okay with me. Now, the April seminar starts in a few days, and I just realized recently, and I tweeted it out today, the seminar starts on April Fool's Day, which I find apropos, and the seminar runs through Good Friday, which includes part of Passover, and includes Easter Sunday. Now, I didn't really understand. Well, first of all, I don't give a shit that's over Good Friday and Easter Sunday, but I didn't really focus on it till just recently, and I found it amusing because Monday's the same as Friday, and Friday's the same as Christmas Day to me. I mean, they're all the same. Yet it's still a packed house. The seminar's oversubscribed, and we'll have 21 guys and one gal, and they're from all over the place. The June seminar is about 80% or 85% booked. It's going to be 1 June to 8 June, and I would fully expect that it'll be oversubscribed at all, because we've still got about 8.5 weeks before the seminar starts. I've talked about my 70th birthday coming up on August, and for those people that have attended the Castle Seminar and that are alumni, QLA alumni, there's been an open invitation, and that open invitation is still being extended, and we're going to have 3 days of festivities, and it should be a lot of fun. I'm sure it will be, including a golf tournament and skydiving for a few of us. The RSVPs have not been overwhelmingly high for the skydiving. So far, I think we've only got 4 or 5 people that are going to skydive with me, and so, but that's okay. I don't expect them to skydive. Now, a reflection here recently in the UK and in the United States, there was a lot of publicity about a 100-year-old woman that skydived. She was, I think, a South African lady, and she had skydived, I think, on her 80th and 90th, and now on her 100th. And I made the comment when I saw this. I said, I wonder if the old bitch is going to swim with sharks. She ought to swim with sharks too. Well, 36 hours or 48 hours later, on the news. There she was, off the Australian coast in a cage swimming with sharks. So I found that pretty funny, how the old lady, nice old lady, was pushing the envelope, and with her children, her grandchildren, and some of her great-grandchildren watching her. Now, this whole Reflections and Confessions of the $50 billion man are going to encompass my career, dating back to when I was a kid, got in a lot of trouble through high school, flunking out of university, and then volunteering to go to at the height of the Vietnam conflict, going to OCS, which was Officer Candidate School, which was my first high performance act that I ever completed as a young 21-year-old man, and the rest was really history, because I didn't really realize that I could, at that level, at that age, that I could compete with high performance people. And and as I often say, not tongue in cheek but seriously, the United States Congress said that I was an officer and a gentleman, just like the movie with Richard Gere, an officer and a gentleman, and it still means a lot to me. And that was in July 1967. The June seminar is the last seminar that I've scheduled for now, although there probably will be another seminar, but it's still not firm, in conjunction, not in conjunction, but after June. Just a slight update, my showbiz career with the reality show seems to be moving forward, and even has title on the UK version. Even has a title, and even days of the week that it would potentially play, Tuesday or Thursday at 8 or 9 o'clock, and I should be getting additional information as time goes on. The U.S. reality show has also moved forward with the production company, and I have a production company for each one, and they're quite different formats. One will be castle-centric, and one of them will not be castle-centric. One of them will be based on me working in the kids that are participating in the reality show in their business. Both of them should be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. But I would imagine that if they still progress, that we're not going to see any of these shows till early next year, 2016. But time will tell. But I am looking forward to it, and the production companies seem to be very excited about it. But having been in show business once before, just because they're excited now doesn't mean they'll stay excited. We'll see. Time will tell. These reflections and confessions will only be me. I'm not going to be interviewing anybody, and not that there are not a lot of interesting people out there, but I don't think that you need that. Most of the podcasts, unfortunately, are giving a lot of not erroneous information, but a lot of information that is based on not successful transactions. In other words, where they haven't really done deals, they haven't really raised finance, and I have trouble with those kinds of shows, but they're out there. And I've given about now 20 or so, or 20 or more interviews for podcasts, and there's still a couple to come out. I did an interesting podcast that should come out with a former bronze medalist for the 2008 Olympics, and it should be published or go live next week. His name is Jeffries, and he's a Brit, a nice young man. I've never met him in person, but I look forward to meeting him because now he lives in Los Angeles. So I will continue to do podcasts, and I will continue to do things with London Real, which I'm very appreciative because Brian gave me the opportunity April 1st last year. Now, a lot has happened since April 1st, and the point I want to make, not just tooting my own horn, but doors will open in your careers and doors will close, okay? And you'll take time and you'll procrastinate, you'll spreadsheet it to death, and before you decide to do something. When the opportunity came for me with Brian Rose and London Real, I jumped on it. In fact, I had to shove my way onto Brian's show, truth be told, and he admits that as well. And then when I saw how popular it was, I pushed the doors open that weren't open to me, vis-a-vis getting an agent, vis-a-vis forcing the issue both on this side of the Atlantic in Britain and in the United States, because that's what high-performance people do. They see opportunity and they seize it. They jump on it. And so I've accomplished a great deal in the last year. And I think that I've been slow. By industry standards, they all say how fast I've done this. But high-performance people are always in a hurry. These will be posted, this Reflections podcast, Reflections and Confessions, will be posted in a similar manner that we post the $50 Billion Man podcast. They will have their own site, they will have their own URL, and they won't be connected in any way directly to my other endeavors. I'm very much interested in your comments, but I'm not going to answer questions like I do on the $50 Billion Man podcast, and this is not associated with a contest to come to the castle by winning the contest. Somehow it's been lost in the fog of war. People think that all you have to do is write me an email, or write one of my officers an email, or one of my assistants an email, and say that they're interested in the contest. And like it's a drawing, you think I'm going to pick you out of a barrel, and that I never said that. What I did say is you enter a question, and a question, the best question, twice a year will win an opportunity to come to the castle. This coming week is the first winner. I believe the kid is from, I want to say Bulgaria, and so we have our first winner, and we have 8 second place winners, but that's for the $50 Billion Man contest, and you have to submit questions that are approved and accepted and placed in the contest. This has nothing to do with that. So I will talk about just about anything on this as we mosey back and forth between Grothue Castle and either Aberdeen Airport, which we're now just coming from, in my first drive in my new car, or Edinburgh Airport. And I look forward to doing these. And I guess that'll be it for my first pod. God bless and peace.